Those of you who visit my channel regularly know I'm quite into good quality audio, hi-fi stuff, and you know, I'm quite interested in my sort of good quality turntables and amplifiers, particularly amplifiers. I enjoy repairing amplifiers. Some of you saw me do a Sansui valve receiver about 6 months ago. Well, this came up at a local auction, Hamfest sort of thing, and this is my First Sony, highly regarded as a very high quality cassette player, very colourful sound, very nice quality machine, circa sort of late 80s, early 90s maybe. I mean, lovely condition. So we're going to have a look at it this evening and have a listen to it, see what it sounds like, and see if it actually works. I haven't actually plugged it in. It was actually bought for me by a friend of mine who knows I like this sort of high-end quality equipment, and I do know it cost him a hell of a lot of money. I think it was it 45? Or no, it's 50. Yes, at 50 pence it was. So he pushed the boat out a bit, thinking of me, which is very kind of him, because you know, money doesn't grow on trees, and in these hard times, you know, we've got to watch the pennies, you know. So this is the Sony cassette player and radio. It's got an FM and AM, and it's also got a built-in microphone, I think for voice control, but I'm not sure. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in an external supply. I've actually got an external 6-volt supply, Sony actually one, designed for a Sony Walkman, I think it was, but it's the same socket, and it plugs in here, and it all plugs in fine. So we'll give it a quick listen, see if it works, and then we'll try a cassette deck, and then we'll try the voice activation thing, see if that works. So let's switch it on. So it's on AM radio already, so let's just turn the volume up, see if we get anything. It's doing something.
More 6X. Trees. That must be good for the planet.
That must be FM. This sounds like FM to me. As you can hear, very high fidelity sound quality. Frequency responses on these is something like 1 Hertz to about 1 megahertz. It's a really wide frequency response, and very sensitive. I think it's about 0.1 picovolts for 12 dB synad. So, you know, a really good quality machine.
You've bringing your daughter up very
It's got a little aerial here.
live in London. We possibly live in Yorkshire,
and that bothered me. Special aerial, plastic aerial. Plastic aerials are much more sensitive to FM signals than metal aerials are. So yeah, the FM side works. The volume pot is a little bit noisy. So let's try an AM. Yeah, we're getting these have got an interstellar front end on these, and it's picking up a lot of interstellar noise, but it's certainly working. See that's alien traffic coming in. So you probably won't understand this. I can understand what this is saying, but you won't understand it because it's all encrypted alien traffic that is top secret, and you know, you need special ears to decode it. So you see that AM radio section works very well. So let's try the cassette player. Now let's pop a blank cassette in here. Okay, well, I can hear something, the motor running, but the tape's not turning. Okay, let's just make sure I haven't got the tape running the wrong way. Press play. No, so there's no tapeage going on. The tape spools aren't turning, so there's obviously something wrong with the dilithium crystal inside. So we'll pop the back off and have a look. Okay, so this is a look inside, and you can see it's just sort of like this is the cassette mechanism here, little speaker here, volume pot, ferrite rod for the AM reception. So basically what you'd expect from a sort of a radio like this, pretty straightforward really. but nicely made actually, and nice little radio. So let's have a look, see why this cassette deck's not working. Let's press play again. And we got no, yeah, got no, nothing's. It's trying to turn, I think, but I think it's probably your belt's come off or something. So let's get the mechanism out and have a look at that. Let's unplug it. Just lift out of there. Which it does. I was hoping it plugs in a couple of cables. Yep. Just plan to lift the whole cassette mechanism out, which looks like, yep, it comes out easy enough. Okay, and sure enough, you see the belts falling off here. It's probably turned to sort of like, they turn to sort of like glue and sticky mess. So let's pop her, try and get the belt back on, see what it feels like. Now it's very loose. Now it's just popped straight off again. So let me see if I can find another belt. I'm sure I've got something like that. You see the belt's just disintegrating. It's just turned to like a rubbery snot. So the belt's had it. Let's get the belt out. It's just breaking. It's just disintegrated. Alright, so let me see if I can find another belt and we'll carry on from there. Well, I found some belts, but these are all flat belts, so I'm going to try and put one on anyway, just to see if it will work. So I think this motor just lifts out of here, I think. It just slides out. I'm hoping anyway, because it looks a bit of a fiddle to. There we go. Okay, so it's the belt I matched up. So hopefully that will go around the pulley. I need to get some other belts actually, because these belts are, as I say, they're all flat belts. I need some, you know, conventional type belts. Actually, it's a good idea because you see all the old belts stuck around the motor still, where it's all just disintegrated. Ugh. I'm going to have to clean all that out. It's all stuck around the. Just totally disintegrated. There's sort of like some of these sort of Chinese things you buy that are plastic, they've got that sort of soft plastic on, eventually sort of becomes sticky, and then, you know, the base of the coating just disintegrates. You see, it's just bits of, it almost feels like licorice sort of texture now. So okay, that's the let's clean that up. The pulley's clean, so hopefully we can string this up and this will work. Belt looks like it's probably, well, it might be okay. Sort of fits into this peg here somehow. Come on. There's a screw rattling around the side. Getting it out. Right, let's try and work out how to get this back together. Well, the belt's on. Looks like it's tracking fine. So I suppose the proof of the pudding is to put it back in the machine and let's see if we get any sound. So get these belts off the bench for a minute. I must look at some belts this evening. If anyone knows where I can get sort of like an assortment of round belts as opposed to the flat belts at reasonable price, please let me know. Drop a link in under the description. Okay, so let's plug this in and see what we get. Let's reconnect it back up. Must admit, it's quite nicely made and easy to get to. Just pop those in, and whilst we're here, might as well give that volume pot a bit of a clean as well, because that's very scratchy, and I can get it now whilst it's all apart. Again, there was some deoxit. It's not deoxit, Servicol, which is the poor man's equivalent. Okay, that's done that. That's the tuning capacitor, that should be okay. This wave change switch seemed okay. It doesn't look like it's that easy to get cleaning fluid in it either. Alright, so let's just secure the transport and we'll try it on the cassette player now and see what it's like. Plug it in. Oh, that's promising. So let's put a cassette in it. And you press play. No, and it's self-stopping, that's good. That means the drive's working. And I've got tape going around. Right, let's just rewind this. Okay, the thing's still not quite right here. It could be the belt slipping. The capstan's, see the capstan's driving. So what's going on here? Rewind. Okay, it might be that the other rubber rollers have all disintegrated as well, so this may be non-viable. If I plug everything back in. Okay, let's get this mechanism back out again. There's clearly something not right with that. The belt's not slipping, so it's not that. That's the first thing I would have been suspicious of. Slipping belt, but that's not happening. Oh, let's turn this power off. Ah, look, there's a... Ah, see what I've missed? I put the belt from there to the capstan, but there's a belt here. This drives the idler. So, okay, got to take the motor off again. What I've done is I've basically put a too short belt in it. I thought I was taking a lot of... When I was taking the belt off, well, that mangled up belt, I thought it was longer than that. So, my mistake goes around there, comes around this capstan back. So, let's get another motor belt on there. I'm sure I've got one that will fit that, and have another go. Right, it wasn't as simple as I thought, actually. First of all, I thought the belt would go through here, around this pulley, up to this pulley and back, but it clearly doesn't because there's no way for the belt to go through back into the motor. Well, it actually is. There's two pulleys underneath this capstan. So one goes straight to the capstan, then the other one goes straight off to this idler. So we got it in. It was a bit of a fiddle, but got it in. Let's try it again, see if it works properly this time. I don't know how long this has been sitting around not working. I'm not sure the grease has all gone hard on the capstan and things, but we shall find out, I should think, in a minute when we plug it in and see if it drives properly. Let's hold the cassette mechanism in so it's not floating around in the air. Okay, I'll try it again. That's better, isn't it? Pulley's going. Oh, it's looking good. So let's see what it works now. That's good. Put the heads back in, I think. There we go. Oh, it's a bit wowy. Okay, that's probably down to those belts I'm using. Probably still get a copyright even though it's warbling away. So that's a chronic case of flutter. Might be interesting to put it on the wow and flutter meter actually. Record a tape. That's extreme, at least 3 or 4%. But that's what it is. It needs some new belts on it. So I think the next thing to do is to order some belts and give it a go, see if that's improved the flutter. Well, that's clearly not right. I don't know if you... Well, you should be able to hear that. I mean, it sounds like a special effect from a 1970s sci-fi. There's some serious wow on there. Wow, flutter, I don't know. A bit of both, really. So that's because I'm using the wrong aspect ratio belts. They should be 1 by 1 millimeters. I'm using a sort of like a flat belt. So it's giving a really warbled effect. It might be interesting to connect this up onto the wow and flutter meter and see what we're getting, but it's horrendous. I would say it's at least 2%. So let's connect it up to the Kenwood wow and flutter meter and see what we get. And there we go, that's the result. So we're using the 3.15 kilohertz tones. We're running DIN, and that's a DIN option selected on the wow and flutter meter. Weighted response, and we're getting on the 3% scale, we're getting 2.25 wow and flutter. So appalling. And you can see here that the speed is slow as well. That should be 3.15 kilohertz. So that's a speed adjustment that needs to be made. There's no point adjusting that until we've guys, turn that bloody awful noise down. There's no point adjusting that until we've got the correct belts in there. And I hope that the belts will turn up in 2 days' time, get the new belts in there and get the thing back together. But clearly what's happening was those flat belts, they're riding up and down the pulley, and that's giving that really bad wow and flutter. So yeah, let's get some new belts in it, have another go, and hopefully it will be... I mean, it's never going to be sort of like really low. And you've also got to remember that the cassette was recorded on a well, it's a Nakamichi BX2, which was yeah, not the best cassette deck in the world, but I expected its wow and flutter to be 0.02, something like that. So yeah, we haven't got a perfect benchmark for a cassette, but it certainly should be a lot better than that. So I'm expecting when this machine is sort of back together and working properly, wow and flutter of I don't know, 0.4, something like that, 0.3, 0.4 would be okay. The capstan hasn't got a lot of flywheel inertia, so it's you know, it's not a hi-fi cassette deck. It doesn't matter really, but yeah, let's see what happens when we get some new belts in. Okay, the correct belts are turned up. I don't know if you can see the difference between the sort of aspect ratio of this belt. This is like a flat belt, and this belt is square, and it is literally square, 1 millimeter square. This is the belt it should have. So hopefully this will fix the wow and flutter. So let's get it onto the into the mechanism and do another wow and flutter test to see if it's improved any. Okay, that's a new belt installed. You see it. Well, you can't see that. It drives to the straight to the motor, and the motor's also got to drive. Sorry, this drives straight to the capstan, and then the capstan also drives straight directly to the motor. So you've got 2 belts, and you can just about see them underneath there. So they're in the right length. I just bought a box of a packet of belts off eBay. So only a couple of quid for sort of 30. So I think I paid 5 quid for 30 belts. Never going to use them all, but yeah, they're in. So let's get the cassette mechanism back in and see if the wow and flutter's any better. We've got the belts in. Let's give it another go, see what we get. So originally we got about 2.5% wow and flutter. Okay, so we're on the 1% range. We are getting about 0.6, which is probably what you'd expect for a machine like this. You wouldn't expect anything better than that. What we have noticed is this is supposed to be 3.15 kilohertz, and our speed is slow. So motor's running slow. Need to turn that up, bring the speed up. No, that's acceptable for a machine like this. So let's get the speed cranked up and then put the thing back together, I think. Okay, we'll try and get the speed up to 3.3150 with this. This is the speed controller in the back of the motor. Just getting my tool in there. Unfortunately, moving the tape around a bit affects the azimuth, so its levels shifts about a bit, and the speed's obviously going to be a bit fluctuating as I'm basically holding the cassette mechanism upside down, but we'll try and do the best we can. So we're not interested in the wound flat at the moment, we're interested in our speed. So we're 3150. Oh, that's me shorting the pot out on the side of the motor. That's pretty good. Try and get it. Very, very jumpy pot. Oh, that's alright. 3.15 kilohertz. So that's exactly what we're supposed to be. That's what the recording was made on a supposedly accurate cassette deck. Certainly better than this one. So speed set correctly, and as we can still see, our wound flutters on the 1% range. It's 0.7. So 0.7 wound flutter on a machine like this, perfectly acceptable. So let's box the thing up and see what the cassette deck sounds like. Right, it's all back together again. Let's have a quick listen to the FM band. Here, well, listen, doesn't retract. That's a fixed length. So FM seems to work okay.
Of course not. Does it happen?
AM is not so good in here, and I think it's probably because I'm running on a switch mode power supply. And you can hear lots of noise from something electronic. I don't think it's the light, but I think it's the electronic power supply I'm using. I'm not sure. I haven't got any batteries for it at the moment, but it's clearly working on AM. I don't know its scale calibration. Believe it or not, Sony actually supply full alignment instructions for this, but it's not that critical. The FM seems pretty good, and the AM's clearly working. So let's try cassette deck. Talk over this because I was going to get a copyright, but it sounds fine. There's no noticeable wow on here. It sounds, the azimuth's been set correctly. A matter of interest, if you want to set the cassette azimuth on these machines, or on a lot of cassette machines, certainly portables, if you eject the cassette, and you can actually sometimes put the cassette behind the compartment where it's actually held. That's the normal place where the cassette's held. If you sometimes go behind there, and you can slide it in there, and you can on this one. It's a bit fiddly, but you can do it. Come on, just had it in there a minute ago. Pretty two-hand job, she said. There you go. So the cassette's in there, and then hold the cassette flat on, so it's flat against the back of the machine, and then adjust the azimuth. You can see the adjustment, the azimuth screw is just there. You can get to it just about. It's always worth doing that once you've done all that, to do a demagnetizing on all the head path as well, but obviously on something machine like this isn't that critical. And of course it's also got the karaoke thing, so I can sing along. A little bit of re-drop the bum, so I've got the microphone as well, so that's yeah, finishes it off really, and it works really nice, and it's a really nice looking little radio, I think. So yeah, bit of a light-hearted sort of video, I know, maybe something a bit more serious coming up, but thank you Cody's for buying this for me. Yeah, it's been good fun, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.